The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Hi there, and welcome to Healthcare Hour with Colleen Qvist. I know that you have had an amazing week. Thank you for all your messages. It's exciting to see how much you've included gratitude in your life, and I know that you have been enjoying all our episodes, all my wonderful guests that we've been having. Of course, today's no different. I have an amazing, fascinating guest for you. But let's go back to more about me. As you know, I'm a coach. I work with professionals on the other side of their title, and I happen to have a love for healthcare, and so I work a lot with healthcare professionals. Healthcare professionals are people. They are not robots. They have their own families. They have their own desires and dreams and things they want to do. But often that gets hidden and lost in looking after others and their health. We also understand that as healthcare professionals, we need to improve the relationship and our communication channels between the healthcare professional and the patient, and also the patient's family. And as the public, we all get to be patients at some point. We need to be educated. We need to learn more things and not just be little sacks of potatoes sitting on the couches, not having any ownership of our own health. So after the break, I'm going to introduce you to my fascinating guest, and we're going to hear all about her career journey. But first, let's go for a break.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
What's he say? It's a really good ball. It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.
Hey. Welcome back. You are listening to Healthcare Hour with Colleen Qvist. My guest today is Yolanda Ndale. Welcome, Yolanda. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Colleen. It's great to be with you today.
Yes. Okay, so I know I was introduced to you via a colleague of mine who said that he'd sat with you on an airplane and that you are a fascinating person and we have to get to know you.
Wow, I'm flattered. Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
I'm Yolanda Ndale. I'm a midwife specialist. I currently work in Saudi Arabia. I was born in South Africa, in Boksburg Tambo Memorial Hospital. I have two daughters. I'm a single mom, and I love my work. I love being a midwife.
Okay. All right, so that makes me feel right at home because Tambo Memorial is my local hospital. I live in Benoni. So you're
Okay.
even an East Rand girl, just like me.
Yes, I'm an Eastern girl from Benoni, Davidton to be exact.
Okay.
So we are homies.
Yes, homies. Yes. Okay, so let's talk about you decide like back at school. Okay, so you there back at school and you're deciding, okay, when I grow up, I want to be. What were you
Yes.
thinking at the time?
Actually, I've always wanted to be a nurse. My nursing was my first preference, my first option my first love. And then, you have to have a plan B if your plan A is not working out. So I either wanted to be a nurse or a social worker.
Okay.
So, yes. So thank God, my first love I'm doing right now. So
All right.
from the young age, I've always wanted to be a nurse.
Okay, and so it's interesting how from that, oh, I want to be a nurse to actually becoming a nurse.
Yes, true, true. And it wasn't easy for me to becoming a nurse, because I applied so many times and I was not accepted. There was a time where I gave up. I said, okay, it means God doesn't want me to be a nurse. I'm not gonna apply again. And then after some few years, this thing was inside of me. So I kept on applying, reapplied until God's time, I believe.
Yeah, sometimes we forget to do God's time and we want the
Yes,
answers to our prayers now, as in yesterday. Come on
exactly.
now, God, why are you taking so long?
Exactly, exactly. But I figured that God was preparing me because when the experience that I've seen, I thought if I was accepted then, I probably would have quit. So God was preparing me to make me strong and, so I can continue and do what I love.
Yes. Yeah, so it's interesting. There sometimes we want something before we're able to do it. And it's
True.
also about realizing that we've got to grow to the level to be able to take the opportunity.
Exactly, exactly. So I've grown throughout the years and I've experienced a lot of things and made me stronger and made me love what I do even more.
Okay. So off you went to go and study nursing.
Yes,
How was that for you?
So I started nursing when I already had my kids, my two children. God's plan again, and it was an experience because we just see nurses with their good, nice, beautiful uniform, and we think, well, it's easy to be a nurse, but it's not. It takes someone with a heart. It takes determination. It takes, love for what you do. So I started training in Lasky Nursing College, the 4-year course, midwifery and community psychiatry. And then I completed in 2011. I started my ComServe in 2012 at MOU, Maternity Obstetric Unit in Davidton, Philip Moyo. I worked there, and then in 2025, I went back to school to do advanced midwifery. It's midwife specialist in Baragwanath Nursing College. It was a 1-year course. I finished that, and then I continued my work at Philip Moyo until I decided, well, it's time to spread my wings. Then I applied to go to Saudi, and here I am working in Saudi as we speak in 2025. So I went to Saudi in 2018 until
Okay,
now.
so yes. So what I'm seeing, okay, you went to Saudi in 2018, but you've also come back here to study to do advanced midwifery. So it's not like you've left South Africa, you just got two loves at the moment.
I did advanced midwifery in 2015 before I went to Saudi.
Ah, okay.
Yes, yes. And then I worked 2016, 17, 18. By the end of 2018, I went to Saudi.
Okay. All right. So
Yes.
let's go back to where you saying nursing's not just a job. Nursing is a calling.
Yes, I believe for me, it's a calling because I love what I do. There's challenges, of course, when you're working with a community. You can't satisfy everyone. And with the state of our health system in South Africa, well, sometimes we feel overworked. We feel unappreciated. We feel underpaid. But if you love what you do, you will continue to do it, and with love also.
Yes. And so nursing is a hard job. And when you don't work every day in flow, you don't work as if like, yay, this is like my calling, this is my purpose. It can drain you.
It can drain you if it's something that you do not like. If you just went into nursing because it was there, But I've seen a lot of people who came into nursing not because it was their first love, but once you are inside, you fall in love with, what you do. You fall in love with, you feel satisfied when you see the satisfaction in another person's because of what you did for them, So it's just a calling for me, and I believe many other nurses.
Yes. Okay, so before we go for a break, let's also, you said that it's hard being a nurse, and also with being a mommy, and then having to work shift work. How did you manage that in those early days?
So, yeah, the shifts. Fortunately, I still have my parents. So when I'm working night duty, then by that time, my kids were still young, so I was still staying with my parents. So I know my kids are well taken care of. As the year goes by and they are growing, so I could leave them alone at home. Now I have my own house, so it's just me and them. So they have already grown and believe that they know what is right and what is wrong. So I would go to work and leave them behind. But at night as a parent, you keep on calling, are you okay? Have you locked the doors? Have you locked the gates? Yeah, but my kids understand the type of work that I do because they see the satisfaction that it brings, to me.
Yes. And I think it's also important as parents to explain to children that you don't only have a parent role.
Come again, sorry?
I was saying it's important as parents to explain to children that you're not only a mommy.
Yes.
You
Yes.
are, you're a nurse, you're a professional nurse, you deliver babies, you make sure that you have a calling and a purpose that is not only being a mommy.
Yes, they know that. And being a nurse, you're not just only a nurse, you are a social worker, you are a
Yes.
psychiatrist, you are, all in one because you meet different people with different problems. So I cannot be, as a midwife, see that my patient maybe has bruises, I cannot just ignore that and say, okay, my work is just to check if the baby is fine and the mother is fine. You also intervene, and then you find help for them because there's lots of things that people go through. So as you encounter with the person, then you get to understand what they are going through and you refer them to appropriate professionals if they need social worker, if they need police, maybe they are being abused, So nursing is just not just nursing. You don't just concentrate on what you do. You do everything. You are everything. You are a dietitian also,
Yes. Multidisciplinary. Okay, so on that
Exactly.
multidisciplinary approach, let's go for a break. And when we come back, we're going to hear more about that multidisciplinary approach. But let's go for a
Okay.
break.
All right.
How do you know the life of personal coach you're about to work with is who they say they are? How do you know if they can do the job? At the Africa Board for Coaching, Consulting and Coaching Psychology, we can tell you. So, before you share your secrets and spend your money, check with us first. Visit www.abccccp.com or call us on 012-751-7608. The ABCCP, the professional body for coaches.
Welcome back. You are listening to Healthcare Hour with Colleen Qvist. As you'll see, Yolanda's very excited in the break. She was saying, yay, she's doing an interview for VUCA Online. And yes, VUCA Online Radio is your inspiration radio station. We like to do things differently. We're not just media. We're not just let's get to the bottom of it from a negative perspective. We are all about inspiring and uplifting and inspiring and making sure that people take action. So my guest is Yolanda Ndale. She is a midwife and she currently is working in Saudi. So let's go back before the break. Yolanda, you were talking about you can't just deliver babies. You've got to be aware of the person in front of you. You've got to be able to see, are there bruises? Is the person not eating properly? Are there other issues? Do you need to bring in a social worker? Do you need to bring in the police? What's going on? What's between the lines that the person is not saying? So in a way, you're also coaching.
Yes, true. Because there's a lot that is happening in our communities, in a woman's life. So some women are having it hard during their pregnancies. Maybe no one is working at home. She's not working. The husband is not working. You can see that maybe the baby is not growing as it's supposed to as they come for their antenatal clinics. You're supposed to maybe the baby weighing, measuring a certain centimeters, and you can see that maybe the abdomen is small for gestation, and then you will interview her, and maybe she tells you she's not eating well, she doesn't afford this and that. That is when then you will have other multidisciplinary committees involved, like dietitians. If it's a case of abuse, you involve the social worker, you involve the police. Of course, if the woman agrees, because you cannot just force things on them, but you inform them for their own good, and their baby's good also.
So it's really about being aware and also working. It's about partnering with the person in front of you to see how can we make things better for you. But yes, as you said, with permission.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
all right.
Of course.
So,
communication with the patient is very important.
Yes. All right. And also,
I was saying communication with the patient.
Yeah. So sometimes people will think that being a midwife is always happy, but I'm sure it's not.
Definitely is not. Is not happy. When your patient complicates, you are not feeling well. When the baby maybe dies, you're not feeling well. It's heartbreaking. It's sad. It makes you feel like maybe I would have done something, maybe, but sometimes we don't have control over. Sometimes when the woman comes, already the baby has died a long time in her abdomen, and then you have to deliver that baby, the heartbreak on the woman. Also, it affects us as midwives, So it's not just happy endings all the time. That's why we pray very hard for God's intervention when we start our daily work. We have to have God, leading us and guiding us, because we cannot do it on our own. At the end of the day, it's God that gives life. So we're just the instrument that God uses to bring life in the world. So yes, there's great moments, and then there's
that very happy, like, yay, it's a boy, it's a girl, and congratulations. But there's also the other side.
Yes.
What you're also
There's
seeing as well
also-
is that not all babies are wanted. Okay. Sometimes it's like, oh, okay, maybe someone's giving up this baby for adoption, or maybe they are still pregnant, although they've had failed termination, for instance. So there's all different reasons.
Yes, true.
So there's diversity of emotion in your unit.
Exactly. There is some they don't, because when you just deliver the baby, we have to do a skin to skin, immediately put the baby on the mother's chest, facilitating skin to skin. So other women, they will tell you, no, take it away. I don't want it, you know. Some already, they have, during their antenatal, they have stated that I don't want this baby. Maybe she was raped, maybe the father dumped her, or whatever the reasons, she doesn't want the baby. So she will tell you, please don't put the baby on my abdomen. I don't want to see the baby, you know. So we have to do what the mother asks and wants, you know. We cannot force her to have a skin to skin, for example, if she doesn't want to. So yeah, we have all those diversity. Some women are very happy, you know, to have their babies. Some have been trying for years, you know, so this is their miraculous bundle of joy. So, you know, everybody is happy. But there's other negative sides of other women who doesn't want, you know,
It's
who
not a
didn't want the
miraculous bundle
pregnancy.
of joy.
No, they don't. They feel like this baby is gonna cause me more problems. I'm already going through a lot. I cannot be doing this, or maybe this baby came because of rape. You know, some women don't want it like that. So yeah.
So that then takes a toll on your healthcare professional, on your midwife, on your nursing sister. How are nursing sisters coping with
But
that? Because also what we see is that a woman may have one baby at a time, you know, and then maybe in a few years' time she comes back to have another baby. But when you're working in a place like Barrow, for instance, there are so many babies every day. And so the
yes.
professional gets to live the story so many times just in one day.
Yeah, true. So we have what we call a debriefing. So in cases of maybe say, in a case like a woman doesn't want the baby, or maybe there was a complication and then the baby passes, because we are also human, it affects us. So we have what we call debriefing. Then we will sit down and discuss, you know, what happened, maybe find ways of, or just to learn what could we have done, or in the next time, what could prevent such things, you know. So that's how we deal with it.
Yes. Okay, and recently I had a show with Sonia Smith, who she owns a funeral home, and she's been fighting in a South African setting because she said that if the baby is born before 26 weeks and is either born dead or doesn't survive, the babies then would have been classed as medical waste. And
Before
so now
26 weeks.
she's now bringing in as well, where she fought with the South African law of saying no, that you need to be able to choose whether you want to have a memorial service or a burial cremation for your baby, no matter what gestational age they are.
Yes, it's true now, because before it would be just before 26 weeks, then it's medical waste. But you know, some parents, some couple, they want to grieve their baby. They don't believe this is not, it's just a clot or an egg, or you know, to them it was the baby. So that's why it has changed, that if you want to bury your baby, it's okay. However gestational age it was, it's up to the parents.
Yeah, and so it's important then to make sure that all professionals who work with babies, that they're all educated, they're all up to date with saying no, you know, where is the empathy, where's the understanding that the person is grieving.
Yes, true. Because, you know, yes, we see these things every day, and we have to separate our personal feelings and be professionals. But being professional doesn't mean we are not human. So we have to empathize with the next person, you know, and understand them. Maybe it's their culture. They have to do some rituals for this a fetus. So we have to allow that.
Yeah, and there it's important then, you know, with the debriefing, with understanding, oh, that was difficult. But also if we don't debrief, if we don't self-care, then how many patients can you actually serve? Becomes a problem then.
You were breaking there, didn't hear you, sorry.
I was just
Sorry?
saying, if we keep on giving, and we don't get back, you end up then running out. You know, it's almost
Yeah.
like no energy left, nothing left in the tank.
Yes, true. We cannot give and not get, also in return, the appreciation from the patients and appreciation from the employer. It makes us, it give and not,
Yeah.
get at least gratitude and get show of thank you, appreciation of what we do.
So we see there how important it is to be recognized, to be seen, to know that you matter in a work setting, and not, oh, well, that's your job.
I don't know if you can still hear me.
Yes, I can. But we're going to go for a break now. When we come back, we will talk some more, and then we'll talk about you going to Saudi.
The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is a professional development center for professionals who aim to improve their professional standing. This means that the learning programs we run are more than just academic programs. They are work-based programs that focus on leveraging your current experience as a professional to build your overall profile. A year down the line, the Africa Center for Work-Based Learning is developing into a preferred center for professional development in Pretoria, with 8 professional development faculties including accounting, teaching, entrepreneurship, as well as IT and many more. For more information, go to acwbl.org or dial +27 12 751 7608. The Africa Center for Work-Based Learning, where work is learning.
Welcome back. You are listening to Healthcare Hour with Colleen Qvist. My guest today is Sister Yolanda Ndale, and she is a midwife who's currently working in Saudi. So she's been talking to us about her training in South Africa and how she, as a midwife, it's important that it must be a calling and a purpose. It can't just be a job. It's got to be something that you enjoy, but also understanding as well that it's not an easy job. It's not an easy calling, and that it's important that professionals go to debriefing, that they talk through things. We've also spoken about that a childbirth isn't always yay. It isn't always about the red balloon, the pink balloon. Look at it. Yay, it's a boy. Sometimes there's a lot of grief involved. There's a lot of disappointment and a lot of tears. But now, Yolanda, let's move to you having moved to Saudi. How did that come up?
So I had friends who worked in Saudi. So, we just discuss how it is. So the main reason, to be honest, to go to Saudi is money. The main reason a lot of us goes to Saudi because it pays better. As I said before, sometimes we feel overworked and underpaid, with our state of healthcare. It's overwhelming. So I decided, well, let me give it a try and see. So I was referred to this agency that is organizing everything for the process of application. So, I just sent my CV. I said, well, let me see if they're going to take me. So after a few days, I got the phone call from the agency. They told me, oh, your CV is interesting. Okay, we're going to take it there. And then they did the process. Within a few months, I was in Saudi.
Okay, so we lost you, but
So
you were saying
it was my
from your
family behind. It's still not easy, but
yes, not easy. I was just saying we lost you a bit there, so I was just repeating for the audience that, you know, you applied, you sent your CV, you thought, ah,
Oh,
what's there
okay.
to lose?
Okay. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I apply. The agency sent
you
my
applied.
CV, and then the agency got back to me. Yes, so the agency got back to me and told me, okay, this hospital has posts, and they did the interview over the phone. And then I was given an offer, accepted the offer, did all the paperwork, police clearance, the medicals, and then after a few months, I went off to Saudi.
Okay, so let's look at that. Okay, so as a professional moving for money, understanding also that money gives us more choice, it gives us more options. But how did you feel then leaving your children?
Mhm.
So
Okay.
what you're saying is that your children then understand that you're doing it for their betterment, you know, to make life better for them. But it's still hard.
Yes, because it's still hard. It's not, there's no place like home, but you have to move from your comfort zone if you really want the best for you. And if you see that being here, well, I cannot achieve what I want to achieve, then you have to move from your comfort zone. And if there's other places that can help financially, and then one has to make a sacrifice. So it's the sacrifice that I had to make to better my life and my children's life.
Yes. How old are your children now?
The first one is 27 and the second one is 18. So
Okay.
they are adults now, they've grown.
Yes. Yeah. But it's still horrible living in a different country away from, you know, away from your children, no
Exactly.
matter how old they are. But of course,
Yes.
it is easier than if they were 10 and 6. Yes.
Well, I think there is no age that you would say it's easier, you
No.
know. What, yeah, because even if you leave them as young, maybe 2 years, others say it's better to leave them when they are 2 years because they don't
Oh,
understand. It's still not easy. You leave them as old as my kids, it's still not easy. It's
yes.
just a sacrifice that one has to make if you want to better your life and your family's life. It's never easy to be not with your family, not around your children.
Yeah. Okay, and
But
how have you found Saudi? Is it different to South Africa working there?
well, yeah, it is different. But a pregnant woman is a pregnant woman everywhere. The procedure is the same. It's just when you get there, culture shock, the language, you know. But I will tell you the workload is not like South Africa, you one on one, it's not like one nurse is to 10 patients like in South Africa, So if you are full and busy as a midwife, I will have 2 patients, and those patients won't be like the heavy patients. So the workload is not it's not bad. I cannot complain of that. But when I first started there, you have moments that you feel, oh my God, maybe I made a mistake by coming here. And then you think, no,
Okay, we
stay,
losing you
I'm
there,
not
Yolanda.
gonna recontract. And then when the
Okay.
time comes, you say, oh, okay, maybe let me try it and one more year. Then you recontract. Before you know it, there are people who've been in, you get used to it, you get used to the. Oh my God, what's happening to the network
Okay,
now?
no, you back again. We can hear you. You were saying you recontract, you can get, you know, you get into it. It becomes a comfort zone. Yeah. So maybe we've lost Yolanda. Are you there, Yolanda? No. We seem to have lost Yolanda at the moment. So what she was saying is that when she first went off to Saudi, it was quite a culture shock. It was a culture shock from a culture point of view. It was, obviously different food, her family not there, not having a support system. Are you back now, Yolanda?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you, yes?
Okay. Sorry about that.
Yes. And so you were just saying that you've got used to it now, and that
Yes.
a
Yes,
pregnant
you get
woman is a pregnant woman, no matter which country you're living in.
exactly. But you have to do as the Saudi way, because we have doctors, we have protocols and policies. So you do everything according to the policy of the hospital, according to the protocol,
Yes.
of the said department. Yes.
Okay. So fascinating to know. And then also what you were saying as well is that you're finding that there is less work. It's not overwork, as I say. It's not less work. It's not being overworked. And you have
Yes.
more of a one-to-one interaction with your patient, because you would only have
Yes.
like 1 or 2, not 10.
Yes, true. You one-on-one with your patient, so it's easy for you to develop a rapport with the patient, because you are there with her from the onset of her labor up until you deliver the baby, So then you create the rapport. After maybe 2 years, the patient is maybe come back again, and then they recognize us. She will tell you, sister, you delivered my baby, and then because we deal with a lot of patients, sometimes you forgot her. And then she says, yes, it was you this year. So, that part brings you joy, like, okay, I'm
Yes.
being recognized, I did well. And then they show you, here's your baby. It's just a great feeling. And we're
Yeah.
learning
That
to
you were
speak
part
out.
of that.
Yes, and then we're learning
Yeah.
to speak the language as well, which was another story.
Okay, so lots of out of a comfort zone, lots of growth, lots of learning for you.
Yes, lots of adjusting to a different country, ways of dressing, ways of addressing people, the ways of you learn, because their culture is very different from our culture,
Yes.
so you get to learn. But when you get to the hospital, they have this they say it's orientation. So they will orientate you into the whole hospital, into the culture of the country, into, everything, and then you have a language teaching. They will teach you, how to speak. And as you go, you also teach yourself
Yes.
Arabic language. So we can speak a little bit of Arabic now. So yes.
Okay. Yes. All right. So Yolanda, thank you so much. And we must actually compliment you on your open mindset, your open heart, and that you're willing to serve and learn and grow.
Thank you, Colleen. This is why I believe it is my calling, because I love what I do. The feeling when you see the joy in the parents' face, of their bundle of joy because of you, the process of labor. Sometimes it's not as straightforward, because we
No.
get complications. Sometimes, it's straightforward, and then all of a sudden it complicates. So hence you need to know what you do. Hence, in-service training is important, self-improvement is important. I cannot just say, well, I did my training 2015, I know everything, because everything evolves as the year goes by. So we have to be up to date with how we deal with this condition now. What does the a protocol say about this and whatever,
Yeah.
So it is a calling for most of us, I believe.
And also so important as well that you stick to the protocols. You don't feel like, oh, don't feel like protocols today. Yeah.
No. You
Yes.
know, you have to do according to the policy, you know, because even if maybe it becomes a case, then you refer back. You said, according to this policy, I did as the policy said I should do, you know,
Yeah.
all the protocol. So you are also covered because
Yeah.
you don't want anything legal against you. That's why you
All right,
have to
Yolanda,
follow
thank you
protocol
so
and
much for being
policies.
our guest.
You are welcome. You are welcome. I thank also Mr. Mongezi for referring me.
Yes.
I hope we will have more interviews from now on,
Yes.
or more
Okay.
encounters.
So you have been listening to Sister Yolanda Ndale, who is a professional midwife, and she's currently working in Saudi, and she's been sharing with us more about her life. So wherever you are, and especially if you are a nurse, please know that you are loved, you matter, and you're not alone. And your job that you do every day makes a massive difference to so many people. And so we thank you and we recognize you for that. And with that, we'll see you all next week. Bye.
The home of inspiration every day.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know the human spirit is powerful.
From news,
Countries across the globe have been hit by the COVID-19 virus.
views,
There's a global trend to see an increase in GBV incidences, specifically domestic violence.
sports,
Would he say it's a really good ball? It's Shabalala.
and music to inspire you every day. This is Vuga Online, your inspiration radio station.